Nityanandam everyone, welcome back. So today I wanted to share a bit about my journey from Catholicism to Hinduism. Why it is I settled into this religion, as the world calls it, this ultimate lifestyle, this Sanatana Hindu Dharma as my choice. Why it is after years of seeking, this is where I find myself. This is where my spiritual home is, and this is where I just know I'll always be. So, to start out, right, I'll give you a bit of a backstory. So, I was born and raised Catholic. I was, you know, baptized at just, you know, close after birth. And since a very young age, I was going with my family, took all of us to church every Sunday. And I was in Catholic private school for pretty much my entire childhood, from kindergarten through 8th grade. So my entire friend base, my entire exposure to life, all the thought currents which developed in me based on that environment, all were very strongly Catholic. And I want to share what that's done for me in my spiritual seeking and what obstacles I've had to overcome from that to allow me to flower into my higher possibilities. So within the Catholic Church, Christianity as a whole, right? There's a whole lot of black and white. And there's also a lot of ideas that, you're a sinner. This idea that you're existentially having some problem. You aren't pure. You aren't there's something that divides you from God. That you can't express your full divinity the same way that the person who's leading you is expressing. That barrier really bothered me, and it made me really start questioning what I was learning in the Catholic Church and why I was binding myself to stick to this one ideology. Naturally, there was a whole lot of comfort, security, life, energy, time put into this, but it didn't define me, and I came to realize that. Once I decided I'm starting the search, I have to find what is the reality behind all this? What is the reality of the cosmos? What is the reality of my life? Who am I? What is human beings' possibility, their capabilities, are they really God? Are we really God? I had that just deep yearning, deep seeking which awoke in me. And it happened after I actually read a book from a Trappist monk. I read one of his books and it drove me into the inner world. All of a sudden it was just like, oh, wait, I'm looking the wrong direction. Let me start asking the real questions of myself, and I started going for the inner experience. But I saw that even at the peaks of, the farthest reaches of the Catholic Church with their mystic traditions, like the Carthusian monks, etc., still didn't fulfill me. It still didn't reach as deep as I was asking. So at age 15 or so, I broke out of the Catholic Church. I decided, all right, I'm not limiting myself anymore to stay inside this box. I started seeking outside knowledge, outside sources, went through some new age transitions, looking for just more answers to my questions. And long story short, it eventually brought me to a book called the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. I was reading in the library constantly spiritual books. I was teaching myself to lucid dream and astral project and was having adventures with that. I was really diving into my new possibilities. And so because of that, I was just drinking down books like water, just literally pouring it into me. So at one point I came across this book, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. The second I opened that book, everything changed. Literally, the seeking of, I think, 5 or 6 years just was answered as in not only as a knowledge but as an experience. What I immediately felt and knew, I am home. This is mine. This is whatever this is what I'm doing. Here it clearly explains that source and you are one and the same. You can reach and express all the states, powers of that source through you while you're alive on the planet, and you have as many births as you want to have that experience. So I was just glued, and all of a sudden I just knew, all right, whatever this is, I'm following this. I found my home. And so then I dove into Hinduism, and that dive has taken me so deep. And I am literally less than, okay, I'll give you a good visualization of where I feel I am. At this point in time, I would say I'm like one of those water skimmers, those like little bugs which have the 5 legs, and they stay on the surface because they're so light. And I'm floating on top of the Mariana Trench, which is 7 miles deep. That is how I feel. Hinduism is more than anybody can imagine. Our human mind, the level to which it can go, does not begin to scratch the surface of the reality of this tradition. Based on this tradition, which has literally generated and produced millions and billions, infinite amounts of enlightened beings across hundreds of thousands of years, it then comes to us as it is in its present state. The world in whatever 1500s, 1800s, I'm not sure when, decided to call it as a religion, name it and put it under these categories, but it does not fit anywhere into the word religion. It is so much more. And ultimately, what it did for me is whatever thirst and seeking was unbearable in me, it quenched all that and only made me more thirsty. What I was thirsting for, I got that. The answers came. But it drove me to deeper seeking, deeper thirst, deeper questions. And like this, it's just moving me into higher states of consciousness, a much more expanded experience of life, a much more expanded experience of myself. So I can say without a shadow of a doubt that Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma, is the deepest, most ancient, authentic source of spiritual knowledge that currently exists on our planet. And I, as a seeker, have not only found that out through years of experience now, and countless, the scrutiny I put all these things through, the doubt level I had, the level of intellectual proof I needed, all of that got crushed by the literal vast ocean that is Hinduism. Every question you have has an answer. Listen, seekers out there, not only an answer, but they will give you what takes you to the experiential knowledge of that. Because knowing with your brain, mind, understanding, cognizing is surface level. There is so much more. There is so much more. It's all about experience. It's all about literally raising your existence. And it's all there in you already. That is the major difference between Catholicism and Hinduism. In one, your starting idea is, I am a soul who has to overcome my original sins, etc., 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 on a path toward where I can be around God. In Hinduism, the thought current with which you start is much different. It's that I am the same consciousness, which is that source, and I only have to manifest myself in all the dimensions that I want to manifest myself, and I'm able to, and I have the knowledge, the teachings, the techniques, the support, and ultimately the best way of experiencing and learning all this knowledge is through a guru's direct initiation and guidance, because they are that ultimate consciousness as we are, but they're established unshakably in that state, and because of that, they are there only to enrich, guide and take you through all the steps into the most indescribably beautiful way of living, experiencing everything. And it never ends. It is literally infinite. So these are just a few scratching the surface reasons why I found my home in Hinduism. All I know is I am not anywhere called done. I am a seed, I am a possibility, and Hinduism presents all the opportunities to awaken extraordinary powers, extraordinary understandings, extraordinary lifestyle, extraordinary relationships. It's all here. And that's why I, as a seeker, have settled down, and why I feel I'm not missing out on anything, because I've settled down. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, I really want to share more about my journey as a spiritual seeker and my journey into Hinduism. So please ask any questions you have, whether it's about Catholicism, my upbringing, my transition period, all that murky gray area in between. Ask away. I'll happily make videos responding to all the things that you want me to share. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more, infinitely more, which is to come. I can't wait for this journey ahead. Let's go on exploring together. I'll see you in my next video.